Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this story to take your decision. Your one like will motivate me to be regular in working more for you. So friends, let us start the day to analyze the movements of natural gas futures in different time frames. So friends, here you can see a daily chart of natural gas futures, where you can see that how the natural gas futures tested the lows of $1.4 in June 2020, and since then the natural gas futures have found a sharp upward move where they tested the highs of $2.7 during the month of August 2020, from where we have seen a steep fall which continued up to the levels of $1.796, what the natural gas futures tested during the month of September 2020. So friends, here I find that the levels of $1.8 seems to be quite supportive for natural gas futures. So friends, here you can see that how the levels of $1.8 was a tough resistance in May 2020, where the natural gas futures continued to breach this resistance for a long time and finally tested these lows. But once again, natural gas futures started an uptrend from June 26, 2020, and once again the futures felt this stiff resistance of $1.852 in July 2020 and found some selling pressure once again, and finally the natural gas futures found strong support at the levels of $1.618, and after forming a base here at these levels during the month of July 2020, the futures continued this uptrend where they tested the highs of $2.749 on August 28, but once again a sharp sell-off was seen below the levels of 2.594, because here I find that this level seems to be quite resistive for natural gas. Friends, here you can see that below the levels of 2.439, a strong sell-off can be seen below this level in natural gas, as we have already seen here. But finally the natural gas futures formed a strong base at the levels of $1.8 in September 2020, and since then we have seen a sharp upward rally in natural gas futures when the natural gas futures finally tested the highs of $3.396 on October 30th, 2020, and once again the natural gas futures tested these highs in November 2020, but since then the natural gas futures found a strong sell-off from these levels which continued to drag down the natural gas up to the upper end of Ichimoku cloud, what the natural gas futures tested on November 19, 2020, because here you can see that how the natural gas futures tested the lows of 2.531 on November 19, 2020, but here you can see that how a sharp recovery was seen above the upper end of Ichimoku cloud when the natural gas futures started an uptrend once again from November 20th, 2020, and once again tested the levels of $3. So here you can see that how this level of $3 seems to be a psychological resistance for natural gas futures, because here whenever the natural gas futures try to sustain above the levels of $3, we have seen a sharp sell-off from these levels. So once again the natural gas futures found a strong support during a steep fall, tested the lows of $2.243 on December 24, 2020. Since then, the natural gas futures once again started an uptrend. So here you can see that how the natural gas futures started an uptrend from the levels of $2.25 on December 28, 2020, and finally tested the highs of $2.896 on January 12, 2021. But since then, the natural gas futures found a sharp sell-off from these levels and once again tested the levels of $2.424 on January 22nd, 2021. So from here, the natural gas futures started an uptrend and once again tested the highs of $3.328 on February 17, 2021. But here you can see that since then the natural gas futures have shown a steep fall from these levels and finally tested the lows of 2.583 on last Friday after testing the lows of $2.584. So therefore, I find that this level of $2.6 seems to be quite supportive for natural gas because here I find that the current weather scenario in Atlanta going to take a sudden change because here the last stretch of winter seems to be evident enough for changing the whole scenario for natural gas futures because we are going to stuck in a chilly winter once again where we could find a sudden spurt in natural gas prices during the upcoming week where I find that the natural gas futures could start the upcoming week with a gap up opening on the first trading session of the upcoming week. We'll see the natural gas futures could start the day above the levels of the 2.738 where a sustainable move above the levels of the 2.790, I mean above the upper end of Ichimoku cloud, could continue this uptrend in natural gas futures where the natural gas futures once again could test the levels of the 3 once again during the upcoming week because here I find that if the natural gas futures find a sustainable move above the levels of the 3, we'll see this rally to continue up to the levels of the 3.155 because the last stretch of winter could turn the whole scenario in favor of natural gas bulls. So friends, now let us check this move in an hourly time frame. So here you can see that how the natural gas futures found a stiff resistance on March 12th and started to move downward and tested the lows of the 2.590 before closing the day at the levels of the 2.599. So friends, here I find that this turnaround seems to be evident enough for continuity of a sharp upward move where the natural gas futures could start the upcoming week with a gap up opening on the first trading session of the upcoming week where the immediate resistance can be seen at the levels of the 2.744, but here I find that a system move above the levels of the 2.744 could continue this uptrend where the second resistance can be seen at the levels of the 2.794 because here I find that the natural gas futures could continue this uptrend during the upcoming week. So thank you friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.